David and Goliath. King Saul paced the hall of his palace, sick with grief and fear, until his servants came to him at last and said, "Let us find someone to play soothing music for you, so that you may soon be healed of this terrible sadness." And the king consented. Now, during his long days and nights alone in the fields, tending his father's flocks, young David had become a poet and musician of great skill. So it was he who came at the bidding of Saul's servants, and when he played his lyre for Saul, peace entered the heart of the tormented men. He came to love David very dearly and demanded often to have him at his side. At this time, the Philistines pressed upon Israel's armies with fearsome power, and there came from their ranks a mighty warrior named Goliath, a giant of a man who would challenge any one of them to single combat. The loser, he said, should surrender his own people as slaves. The Israelites trembled at the very sight of Goliath, for he was 10 feet tall. He wore a helmet of bronze and a heavy coat of mail, and he carried a spear as large as a weaver's beam, with an iron point upon it, weighing more than 17 pounds. It happened that David was sent into the Israelites' camp to bring food for his older brothers, who were in the front lines. And he heard the shouts and curses of the Philistine giant. "Who is this?" he asked in astonishment. "Who dares to insult the army of the Lord God of hosts?" David's eldest brother, Eliab, sneered at him. "Go home, shepherd boy, and mind your sheep." "What have I done?" asked David. "Am I not even allowed to speak?" And he went back to King Saul and told him, "I will go against Goliath myself, and I will win. When bears and lions try to attack my father's sheep, I can always kill them. This Philistine is no more than a great beast, and God will surely deliver him into my hands." "You are only a boy," cried Saul. "This man has been a warrior from his youth." When he saw that David was determined, he put his own armor on the lad and gave him his own sword. But David had trouble moving about. "I am not used to these things," he told the king, and took them off. Then he went into battle, wearing his tunic, with his staff in his hand, and he carried his sling, and into his shepherd's pouch he put 5 smooth stones that he had chosen carefully from the riverbed. Goliath roared with laughter when he saw David approaching. "Come, little one," he called. "I will give you flesh to the birds of the air and the beasts of the field." But as he was still shouting at David, the boy ran quickly forward and hurled one of the stones with his sling. The stone smashed deep into Goliath's forehead. His blood gushed forth, and he fell face down in all his armor on the ground. Then David ran up and seized the giant's own sword and cut off his head with it. A tremendous cheer went up from the Israelites, and the Philistine army turned and fled. This is the end.